Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into different methods for tackling debt and hopefully finding a path to, a little more financial peace of mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's important to remember as we go through this that this deep dive is just for informational purposes only.
Right.
Everyone's financial situation is so unique. So,
Absolutely.
what works for one person might not be the best fit for another person. And you should always consult with a qualified financial advisor.
Yeah, for personalized guidance, for sure.
Yeah,
It's kind of like finding the right workout. Like
exactly.
what works for one person
Yeah,
might not work for another.
100%.
All right, so let's jump right in. We're going to be looking at two popular methods for paying down debt. The debt snowball and the debt avalanche.
Yes, those are the two big ones. And both are about being strategic in how you approach your debt, but they come at it from slightly different angles.
Okay, so what's the debt snowball all about?
So the debt snowball method is all about building momentum, right? You start by paying off your smallest debt first, regardless of the interest rate.
Right.
And this gives you this quick win, and it can be really motivating, especially when you're first starting out and you just feel
Right.
overwhelmed by this huge mountain of debt.
Totally. Yeah, it's like the feeling of accomplishment when you finally clean out that junk drawer.
Exactly.
It might not be the biggest thing on your list, but it gives you that boost of energy to keep going.
Exactly. And then as you pay off each of these smaller debts, you roll that payment amount into the next smallest debt, and you just create the snowball effect that keeps gaining momentum as you go.
So it's less about saving the absolute most money on interest and more about keeping yourself, motivated and consistent.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay. I could see how that would be appealing for a lot of people.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, we have the debt avalanche method.
Okay. So how does that work?
So this one's a little bit more analytical, and it's really focused on saving money on interest charges.
Okay.
So with this strategy, you're going to prioritize paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first,
Right.
regardless of the balance.
Regardless of the balance.
Yeah, so by tackling that most expensive debt first, you end up minimizing the total interest you pay over time.
So if someone's really driven by the numbers and
Yeah.
wants to save the most money possible, then the debt avalanche is probably the way to go.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Even if it takes a little longer to see those, smaller wins.
Exactly, and you can think of it like choosing to climb the steepest part of the mountain first, because then the rest of it feels easier.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got the momentum-driven snowball
Yeah.
and the more efficient avalanche.
Yep.
Are there any other methods that people use that we should know about?
There are definitely variations out there, and there's hybrid approaches, but I would say those are the two that you hear about the most.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes even combining elements of both can be really effective.
Right.
But the key is, like we were saying before,
Yeah.
finding what works for you and what you're most likely to stick with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's like anything, with big goals, consistency is key.
Yes, exactly.
So figure out what works for you and stick with it.
Yep. It's funny, thinking about the snowball versus the avalanche.
Yeah.
The snowball is all about those little victories and how that can really boost your confidence, whereas the avalanche is all about that calculated approach
Right.
to save money in the long run.
It really does feel like a personality thing, doesn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
Some people, they want to check things off the list.
Yeah.
And other people, they just love seeing those numbers go down.
Exactly.
Right. So, okay, that makes sense. But, not all debt is created equal.
Right.
What if I have, a car loan and some credit card debt
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even a student loan or two?
Yeah, absolutely. That's super common.
So how do you factor that into choosing between these two methods?
Yeah, that's a great question. So
Yeah.
with the debt snowball, you're still going to prioritize based on that smallest balance,
Okay.
even if a smaller debt has a slightly higher interest rate than a larger one.
Right.
But with the debt avalanche, you're always going to go after that highest interest rate first, no matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So the avalanche is going to be the most efficient way to save money, even if it takes a little bit longer
Exactly.
to pay off those
Yeah.
smaller debts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So refinancing and consolidation, these terms get thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
Can you break those down for us?
Yeah. So refinancing, I feel like a lot of people think about that with their houses.
Yeah, like your mortgage.
Yeah. Basically, refinancing just means replacing an existing loan with a new one.
Right.
Often, hopefully, with a lower interest rate or better terms.
Okay.
So yeah, you can refinance your mortgage, but you can also refinance student loans, personal loans.
So the goal is to get a lower interest rate and just reduce the overall cost of the debt.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And this is especially helpful if, like, interest rates have dropped since you initially took out the loan.
Yes, especially.
Oh.
Yeah, because even a small, like, reduction in your interest rate can save you a lot of money
Right.
over the life of the loan.
I imagine it could also free up some cash flow each month if your payments are lower.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so that's refinancing. What about consolidation?
So debt consolidation is basically combining multiple debts into a single new loan.
Okay.
And this can be helpful just to, like, simplify your finances, because instead of juggling like 10 different payments,
Right.
you just have one.
That sounds like a huge, like, weight off your shoulders, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed.
It can be, yeah.
Okay.
And just like with refinancing, debt consolidation can sometimes result in a lower interest rate,
Right. Okay.
especially if you're able to consolidate like some high interest credit card debt
Okay.
into a loan with a more favorable rate.
That makes sense. So both refinancing and consolidation can be really smart moves, depending on your situation.
Yep.
But when it comes to actually making those payments,
Yeah.
our debt-to-income ratio, that's something we got to pay attention to, right?
Yes, absolutely. Your debt-to-income ratio, or DTI, is a key measure of like your financial health, and lenders use it to assess,
Yeah.
your ability to repay a loan.
Right.
Essentially, it's just the percentage of your gross monthly income
Okay.
that goes towards debt payments.
So if I'm making, like, let's say $5,000 a month before taxes, and I'm paying $1,000 towards debt each month,
Yeah,
my DTI would be 20%.
exactly. And generally, a lower DTI is seen as,
Yeah.
more favorable by
Yeah.
lenders. It just indicates that you have like a good balance between your income
Right.
and your debt.
So if I want to improve my DTI, I can either increase my income or decrease my debt.
Exactly. And a lot of times it's a combination of both.
Right.
But yeah, focusing on paying down that debt is key.
Good.
But it's also good to,
Explore options for increasing your income.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. It's all about balance.
Exactly. It's all about balance. And remember, your DTI isn't just like a number for lenders.
Right.
It really is a reflection of your overall financial well-being.
I like that.
A healthy DTI can just give you more financial flexibility and peace of mind.
Okay, so we've talked about choosing the right debt repayment method.
Yeah.
We've talked about refinancing, consolidation. We've talked about DTI. What else do we need to know?
Well, I think another big thing is your credit score.
Your credit score, yeah.
It's like your financial report card.
Right.
It really plays a big role in, your ability to access loans.
And to get favorable interest rates.
I know it's important to check it regularly, but honestly, I find it a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
It feels like really mysterious.
Yes. Mysterious. That's a great word for it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Really, your credit report is just a record of your credit history.
Okay.
It's just showing lenders how you've managed borrowed money in the past.
So it's like a track record of my financial responsibility.
Exactly. And knowing like what's in your credit report can really empower you to improve your score,
Right.
which can save you money down the line.
Okay, so how do we even start with all of this?
Yeah. So a great first step is to request a free copy of your credit report
Okay.
from each of the 3 major credit bureaus.
Okay.
So that's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Right.
And you can actually do this once a year for free
Okay.
through a website called annualcreditreport.com.
Oh, that's a good reminder.
Because you really do need to know where you stand so that you can start working on building a strong credit history.
Absolutely. And as you start to pay down debt and manage your credit responsibly, you should see your score improve,
Right.
which opens up more financial opportunities and can really help you achieve your goals.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It really is. It's all part of the bigger picture
Yeah.
of like achieving financial well-being.
Right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So choosing a repayment method, understanding refinancing and consolidation,
Yeah.
managing DTI,
Yep.
building your credit, it's all part of it.
It's all part of it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we covered all of that.
Me too.
It just occurred to me as we've been talking about all this stuff that we haven't really touched on, like the mental and emotional side of dealing with debt.
Oh, for sure. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Debt can be a major source of stress and anxiety for people.
Totally.
And those feelings can actually make it even harder to make progress.
It's like a vicious cycle, right?
Exactly.
You're stressed about the debt, so you kind of avoid dealing with it.
Yeah.
And then it just feels bigger and more overwhelming.
100%. And that's why it's so important to come at this with like a healthy mindset
Okay.
instead of letting those negative emotions take over.
Yeah.
Try to think of it as an opportunity for growth
Okay.
and learning.
So shifting from feeling like a victim of your circumstances
Yeah.
to feeling empowered
Yes.
to take control.
Absolutely. It's about taking ownership of your finances and deciding to change your relationship with money.
Okay, I like that.
And a big part of that is focusing on what you can control.
Okay, so instead of like dwelling on the past
Yeah.
or worrying about things that are out of my hands,
Yeah.
I should be channeling that energy into taking action.
Exactly. Focus on making a plan, set realistic goals,
Yeah.
and take those small steps each day to move you closer to where you want to be.
It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Sometimes you get so caught up in the big picture that you forget that like any progress is good progress.
100%, 100%. And another thing is to be kind to yourself throughout this process.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have setbacks. It's
Yeah.
okay to ask for help.
That's something I think a lot of people struggle with, especially when it comes to money.
Yeah,
There's so much shame and judgment.
for sure.
So, yeah, be kind to yourself. I love that.
Yeah, and remember that you're not alone in this. Like, everyone faces financial challenges at some point.
Right.
And the important thing is to learn from those experiences
Yeah.
and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. So any practical tips for staying motivated and building those good habits?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that can be really helpful is to break down your goals into smaller milestones.
Okay.
So instead of focusing on that like huge, scary number, celebrate those smaller wins along the way.
Okay.
It's like training for a marathon.
Right.
You wouldn't try to run 26 miles on your first day.
Right. You got to work your way up.
Exactly. And just like with marathon training, consistency is key.
Okay.
Try to make it, part of your routine, even if it's just a little bit each week.
And don't be afraid to reward yourself for your progress, right?
Yes, 100%.
It doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe just like a nice dinner or something you've been wanting.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about those little things that keep you motivated
Yeah.
and remind you why you're doing this.
Okay. I like that. What else?
Another really powerful tool is visualization.
Okay.
Like spend some time really imagining what your life will be like when you're debt-free.
Okay. Like picture that feeling.
Exactly.
That feeling of freedom and peace of mind.
100%. Hold on to that
Yeah.
and let it fuel your determination.
I love it.
And remember, this is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
There are going to be ups and downs.
For sure.
But with the right mindset
Yeah.
and a commitment to making those changes,
Yeah.
you can get there.
That's really encouraging to hear. It's a good reminder that even if we've made mistakes, it's never too late
It's never too late.
to start fresh.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And remember, there are resources available to help you, so don't hesitate to reach out to a financial advisor or credit counselor.
Right. If you need help.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I think this has been a super insightful deep dive.
Me too.
We've covered so much, from picking the right method to understanding credit scores and DTI and even the mental and emotional side of things.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's important.
It is.
And I think it's worth repeating that. Like, there's no shame in asking for help, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Absolutely.
What matters is finding what works for you and what keeps you moving forward.
100%. 100%.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with one final question.
Okay, hit me.
What's one small step you can take today to start creating that financial future you deserve?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Maybe it's making a budget. Maybe it's calling your bank to talk about refinancing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just shifting your mindset from, scarcity to abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, take that step
Yes.
and know that you're capable of achieving amazing things.
We believe in you.
All right, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.